Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today we are back with 4 bear books. Yes, bear, like bears over there. Yep, B-E-A-R. All about the bear. Bear in pajamas, bear right here with you. We have Welcome Home Bear, a book of animal habitats by Sun Ney. We have Bear Flies High by Michael Rosen, illustrated by Adrian Reynolds. We have Don't You Feel Well, Sam by Amy Hess, illustrated by Anita Jerem. We have You Can Do It, Sam by Amy Hess, illustrated by Anita Jerem. We'll start with this one first. You Can Do It, Sam. Book doesn't want to open. It happened one winter morning on Plum Street, and the moon was still up, making moonbeams and shadows on Plum Street. In the little white house, Mrs. Bear and Sam were baking cakes. They stirred with big spoons, swirling and tasting batter. They peeked in the oven at 2 rows of cakes, golden brown cakes, for their friends on Plum Street. Come on, cakes, whispered Sam. I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. Mrs. Bear and Sam waited for cakes. Now, can we go, Mama? Now, said Sam. Soon, Mrs. Bear said. Soon, Sam. They waited and waited, and then at last Mrs. Bear sniffed the air and her nose in the air and said, I believe our cakes are ready. Mrs. Bear and Sam counted cakes, and there were 12. They tucked them in a bag, and there were 12 red bags. Outside, snow tumbled on houses and sprinkled the trees. It powdered the yard and Mrs. Bear's truck. Mrs. Bear and Sam climbed up in the truck that was green. They bumped along in the early light, just the 2 of them on Plum Street, uphill and down, up and down, to the very end of Plum Street. Our friends will love my cakes, Sam told his mama. Of course, Mrs. Bear said. Mrs. Bear pulled up close to the first sleepy house. Here we are, Sam. I'll wait here and you take the cake. All by myself? Whispered Sam. Go, 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 Mrs. Bear put her arms around Sam. You can do it, Sam. And off he went, all by himself in new snow, all by himself, waving a red bag and waving to Mrs. Bear, all by himself taking cake to their friends. Sam left the red bag at the door. The sign on the bag said, "A tasty surprise." Then he ran back to the truck where his mama was waiting. "I did it," said Sam. "Of course," Mrs. Bear said. Mrs. Bear and Sam bumped along, just the two of them, up and down, up and down. At each sleepy house, Mrs. Bear stopped the truck. She put her arm around Sam. "Here I go," whispered Sam. "Go, go, go," Mrs. Bear said, and off he went, making tracks in new snow, waving a red bag and waving to Mrs. Bear, leaving one tasty cake at each sleepy door, all by himself. Until they got home, there were 2 cakes left in 2 red bags. Said Mrs. Bear. "For us?" whispered Sam. "Of course," Mrs. Bear said. Mrs. Bear and Sam held hands on the path to the little white house, and the sun was just sunning up the little white house. "Hello, house," said Sam, and they went inside, kicking snow off their boots. Mrs. Bear poured cocoa in cups, and they wriggled their toes in fat socks, enjoying their cakes with cocoa. As their bellies filled up, they took turns telling stories about a bear called Sam who takes cakes all by himself to his friends, and they all love his cakes so much. And that's what happened one winter morning on Plum Street. The end of You Can Do It, Sam. Oh. Welcome Home, Bear, a book of animal habitats. To W.H., who makes home a cozy place. Every morning, Bear woke up in the same green forest under the same blue sky. One day, he thought, "I will find a new home." So he climbed up to see B.O.R.E.D, but her nest was so high in the trees. He dug down to visit Mole, but it was stuffy underground. The dirt got on his nose, in his nose. He went to see Goat, but standing on her steep cliff made him dizzy. He swam to Octopus, who was surprised to see him, but the ocean was too deep. He found Polar Bear and the Puffins, but the snow was so cold under his paws. So he went to see Camel, but now his paws were hot in the desert sand. He paid a visit to Oregontum, but it rained and rained and rained. Orangutan. He paid a visit to orangutan, but it rained and rained and rained. Let me correct my pronunciation there. Thank you, boys and girls. He decided to find the hippos, but there was mud everywhere. After visiting all his friends, Bear was tired. He wanted to be somewhere that was not too high, not too stuffy, not too steep, not too deep, not too cold, hot, rainy, or muddy. He knew just where he wanted to be. The end, boys and girls. He knew exactly where he wanted to be. And guess where that was? Back to the front of the story. Every morning, Bear woke up in the same green forest under the same blue sky. One day he thought, I will find a new home. But he actually ended right back there, look. See? And then I'll go to that last page. See? Sometimes you think you want to be someplace else and you realize that home is the best place you could ever be. Bear flies high. Don't you just love all these bear stories? It's so cozy. I thought it would be perfect for today along with my bear slippers. Check out those guys. Bear flies high. I'm a bear on a beach, on a beach, on a beach, and I sing by the sea all day. Dooby-doo, dooby-doo, dooby-dooby-doo. I watch the birds in the sky, in the sky, in the sky, and they fly above me up high. Shoopy shoop, shoopy shoop, shoopy shoopy shoop. I wish I could fly up high, up high, up high. I wish I could fly up high one day. Shoopy shoop, shoopy shoop, shoopity shoop shoop. If you want to fly, Mr. Bear, follow us. Follow us, follow us, follow us to a place far away. Follow, 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 follow. Follow, follow, follow. We're waiting at the gate, at the gate, at the gate. We're waiting at the gate to get in. Don't push, don't push, don't pushy, pushy, push. Cups and saucers whirling around, whirling around, whirling around. Cups and saucers whirling around all day. Whirl, whirl, whirly, whirl, 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 whirl. Haunted house, shooping loud, shooping loud, shooping loud. Haunted house, shooping loud all day. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo, hoopity, hoopity, hoo. Big flipper, fly high, flying high, flying high. Big flipper, flying high in the sky. Whooshity whoosh, whooshity whoosh, whooshity whoosh. You can fly up here, Mr. Bear, up here, up here. You can fly up there if you dare. Scary scare, scary scare, scaredy scare, scare, scare. I'm a bear who can fly. You can fly, I can fly. I can fly in the sky like a bird up high. Whoopity whoosh, whooshity whoosh, whoopity whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Then it's back down the road, down the road, down the road, back down the road to get home. Follow, 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 follow. We watch the birds in the sky, in the sky, in the sky. We watch the birds in the sky up high. And we sing by the sea all day. Dooby-doo, dooby-doo, swooshy swoosh, swooshy swoosh. The end, boys and girls, of Bear Flies High. We have one more to go. Don't you feel well, Sam? Don't you love it when I just throw the books over there? You hear them hit the ground, hit the ground. For Sam and Kate and the cozy, cozy nights, because big boys have to take their medicine too. Don't You Feel Well, Sam? By Amy Hess, illustrated by Anita Jerem. Beautiful. It was cold. It was a cold, cold night on Plum Street. Yes, we're back to Plum Street with Sam. In the little white house, Mrs. Bear was putting Sam to bed. She closed their favorite book, and they both blew out the candle. Kiss goodnight, Sam, Mrs. Bear said, and she wrapped him all cozy in the blanket that was red. But suddenly she heard a cough. Hick, hick, and there sat Sam curled up, a small and coughing in bed. Mrs. Bear put her arms around Sam. Don't you feel well, Sam? Sam shook his head. Poor Sam. Mrs. Bear hugged him harder and kissed his warm cheek. You have a cough, she said, and she dashed down the stairs and up again with syrup. Open wide, Sam, Mrs. Bear said. Sam shook his head. Tastes bad, he said. Yes, said his mama. You need to be brave. Sam put the blanket on his head. I don't have a cough. Try again, Sam, said his mama. Sam shook the blanket off his head. He opened up, then closed his mouth tight. The spoon was too big. Too big, said Sam. You can do it, Mrs. Bear said. I know you can, Sam. Sam opened up, then closed his mouth tight. Too much syrup on a too big spoon. Too much, said Sam. Mrs. Bear rubbed frost off the window and peeked outside. Soon it will snow, she said. Open wide, Sam, and afterwards we'll go downstairs and wait for the snow. Snow? Sam opened wide, then very wide. He sputtered and snorted and made a big face. The syrup went down. Brave Sam, he said. Mrs. Bear and Sam held hands on the stairs. Sam wore his robe that was blue, and his slippers were too. They lit a little fire in the kitchen, then made a pot of tea. Mrs. Bear put extra honey in her tea, and it was nice sliding down. After tea, they sat in the big purple chair near the window and waited for the snow. Mrs. Bear told the story about a bear called Sam. Sam liked the story, so she told it again. Hic, hic, went the cough every now and then. Sam leaned back on his mama's soft belly. It wriggled while she talked. The little fire glowed and the kitchen was warm. All through the night, Mrs. Bear and Sam sat in the big purple chair and waited. What do you think they're waiting for? And finally, it snowed. The end, boys and girls. Don't you feel well, Sam? Boys and girls, that is the end of all of our bear books. We read 4 today. Boys and girls, it is Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. I do not own the rights to any of these books that I read to you, but you know exactly what I'm going to say. I love storytelling magic and sharing stories with you and bringing those stories to life. I have to say, these 4 books make it my 581, 582, 583, and 584 books that I've read to you so far. And, of course, it has been my pleasure. So, I'm not sure what you're doing today. If you're home, if you're out and about, whatever the case might be, I hope that whatever you're doing, you are having a good time. And I hope that at some point during the day, you'll get your reading in. I hope so. Because, what do I always say to you? What do I always say? You're better off reading every day. That's what it's all about, boys and girls. Even just a little bit. Try to get a little bit of reading into your life every day, and you won't be sorry, I promise. It'll take you places. It'll make you feel things. It'll put a little bit up here. It'll put a lot in your heart, and it might even make you laugh. Right? And laughing is definitely a good thing. So here's my guy right here. And my other guy right here. And we just want to say, it's been our pleasure to see you, and we will see you again soon. Bye. Bye. Cute, right? Bear. It was a nice day to be a bear. And be a bear right here with you. Bye.